Finally, our last topic. We had visited this in our last edition of Comeback Sports. We're going to visit it again because of all the coaches that unfortunately lost their jobs in the NFL on Monday. They usually call it Black Monday after Week 17. And one of those coaches was Anthony Lynn over in I keep calling them the San Diego Chargers. The LA Chargers coach Anthony Lynn was fired. I think a lot of people understand why he was let go. I watched him in Hard Knocks over the summer, and I really like the guy. I think he's a very inspirational coach, but there were things he did in game that sort of, I think the Chargers might have even lost games because of it. And they have a lot of talent. They certainly have a good young quarterback. So, it's tough to see a guy like Anthony Lynn go. So now we have a lot of job openings. I think there's 7 or 8 at least. And there could be some more depending on what happens over the next week or so. But the Chargers job has to be one of the top jobs because of the talent, because of the location. And, you look at, unfortunately, minority coaches, there's not enough of them, head coaches in the NFL. And, Eric Bieniemy seems to be he's always been the coach that critics have said should already be a head coach. Why is he not a head coach? I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen in this offseason. He's already, I think, been on a couple interviews. He's got a couple more. His team's on a bye, so that really helps him this week, especially because Kansas City's not playing this weekend. And I think he'll be the next guy. One thing I want to point out, and I think this is interesting, is you have Brian Flores, who I think is an excellent head coach. He's been in the head coach for 2 years down in Miami. I think he's done a nice job. It's going to be interesting what he does with Tua over the next couple of seasons. But he just Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator of the Dolphins, was just let go. I actually think he stepped away after one season. Is it on a minority head coach to then say, maybe I should hire a minority offensive coordinator? And I know as a head coach, there's only a certain amount of good offensive coordinators, so it's not really that you can pick one necessarily from a whole slew of guys that are ready to take the job, or women who are ready to take the job. But should Flores, as a minority head coach, if he wants to see more of him in the NFL, should he try to target a minority offensive coordinator?
I think that's something that, you could go both ways on that, to be honest. I think that would give them a lot more opportunity if they get to lead an offense like Bieniemy did in Kansas City, to be able to showcase your talents as far as calling plays and developing offensive talent. Especially, I think, in the NFL, where, you look over to Arizona and with Cliff Kingsbury, he specifically got his job as a head coach of the Arizona Cardinals based off of his being able to develop offensive talent like a Baker Mayfield or I'm trying to think of the other quarterback, Jalen Hurts as well. And so I think, it gives those coaches the opportunity to come in, lead an offense, and be able to develop some talent, and then have the chance to be able to go on an interview going forward to be able to basically showcase what they can do as a coach. But I think you're right. I think Eric Bieniemy is going to get that opportunity. I know I've seen his name brought up in 5 or 6 of the openings. And I guess it's one of those things where, as a coach, and even as a minority coach, you really want to look at the job. And I'm glad you brought up San Diego being really that top position that people would want to go get, because it's one of those things of, it's 50-50. Do you want to become a head coach with a horrible team and put yourself in position to not succeed and probably get fired a year or 2 down the line and be starting over? Or do you want to be able to put yourself in position to wait and maybe get a good team like the San Diego Chargers? You got me saying it even. The Los Angeles Chargers.
The LA Chargers, yeah.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Chargers. And with a team like, Justin Herbert there in offense, and you got Keenan Allen there as a wide receiver. You've really got some great offensive talent on that team. Looking forward, the defense looks good. So I think it's one of those situations where it depends on the situation, and I think Eric Bieniemy is going to look hard at that. But I think he is going to be the head coach this season that you're going to see that's going to get a chance to prove it as a minority head coach. I'd like to see maybe some other coaches get an opportunity. There's a lot of positions that need to be filled, the Jets position, but that's one of those jobs that I was just talking about, like, that you probably do not want. That Jets team is looking so bad right now, and it's a full rebuild, that I think any coach that comes in is going to have a tough opportunity to kind of fix that. But yeah, I'd also like to see that Black Monday be called Pink Slip Monday or something like that.
Right.
Because yeah, they're handing out pink slips on that day quite often, and you've seen a lot of coaches just get canned. I was shocked a little bit by Anthony Lynn. I mean, shocked but not shocked, because I mean they just made the playoffs a few years ago, but then they had this bad season here. I honestly thought he might get one more season to kind of prove himself, but that just didn't happen. And I can understand it's professional sports. It's really, what have you done for me lately? And clearly they didn't have a good season, and they want to look for something more. So I completely understand.
Yeah, I think going back to Eric Bieniemy specifically too, different coaches want different things. I think, if you're Bieniemy, do you want to lead a team where you can pick your quarterback? Do you want to go to the Jaguars? It sounds like Urban Meyer might be a candidate for that job. I understand how popular he was in Gainesville, but maybe Bieniemy is going to be the guy down there. Then he can pick his quarterback. Maybe he loves Trevor Lawrence. Maybe he loves Justin Fields. So if he really wants to start out with his quarterback, he might want to go somewhere where a team has one of those top picks and can select that. He can select that quarterback, or is with a general manager who's going to take the quarterback that Bieniemy feels like he can work with the best. Or he can take a job where he might want to work with a veteran quarterback. If he goes to the Lions and the Lions keep Matt Stafford, that could be a possibility. So I think there's a lot. Or if he wants to go to the Chargers, he's got a young quarterback already there who's clearly, Justin Herbert was probably rookie quarterback this season. And he's ready to go. He's got a good offense, and they'll be rocking and rolling as soon as he gets in there. So I think it all depends on what Bieniemy wants to do as a coach. But I definitely think this will be the year for him.